Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short, little unboxing video to show with you guys. Part 2 of this amazing Poikilo experience. So I had a friend of the channel reach out and say I have a ton of Poikilo knives, which is a new brand that has been showcasing some unparalleled quality. I mean, I'm still flabbergasted at how they seemingly came out of nowhere to bestow upon us excellence. It's mind-blowing. So it has been really fun to explore a lot of what they are capable of, a lot of their catalog. Thanks to this gentleman, this individual who is seemingly collecting these knives, I'm able to showcase them for you. I will link Poikilo knives down in the description. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's up to you. I don't get to keep these. They're going back. We are not reviewing these today. We are simply taking an initial look, a first impressions, if you will. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Let's start off here with, this one says, we're gonna do the small and large prism. Thank you so much for labeling these, by the way. Don't know anything about these. Just taking a look. So this is the small one, huh? Oh my goodness. Have I looked? That's the problem. There's so many of these. I'm not sure if I've looked at them. This is small and this is large. Okay, that's wild because this is not a small knife. Let's take a look at this. Really cool. Obviously, when I say, what's happening here? Oh, fun. I love how the clip is literally laid in to the titanium. How interesting. Okay, I've seen the pivot clip before, but not laid in to the material itself. That's quite interesting. This, and I don't mean copy, I mean, it makes me think of Reich Evolved. This feels like some future Reich project, and I don't mean that as an insult or, you know, anything to Reich, and I don't mean that Poikilo is copying them. It feels initially, without knowing about Poikilo and their designers, I would assume Reich designed this because of the futuristic angular, you know, I always say it looks like somebody ripped a chunk off one of the buildings in the Halo series, right? It's kind of what it looks like. So we have a flipper and a front flipper. I'm going to go ahead and use this guy. So that flips beautifully. Wonderful. And once again, not to my surprise at all, after having handled a couple of these, we have an exquisite blade finish. This is quickly becoming a favorite of mine, whatever they're doing here. It's essential. And you know what? It's not necessarily even something that's different from an opinion that I have voiced in the past. And this opinion comes largely from knives like the Spyderco Python. They are clearly media tumbled in some way, but there's an underlying polish, or perhaps they do it afterwards. I'm not really sure. But this combination where it's not quite a mirror polishing, but it's also much more reflective than a standard media tumbling, right? It's kind of in between. This is so satisfying to look at. What on earth? What is going on here in the flat? Is it a product of the machining? Hold on, we're going to zoom way in here. Yeah, it is. So at first I thought there was like a weird little micro texture, but it's probably a product, what is left over essentially after they machine this part, but it creates for an interesting two-tone effect. That is so beautiful. Poikilo brand, kind of the frog is kind of charming. I don't know what it is, but it's so funny. Is it the juxtaposition of the almost cartoonish, funny looking frog sitting on top of like machining masterpiece of a piece of cutlery here? So this is a lot more comfortable than you would expect. I'm not going to call it like an overly, you know, it's not catering to the user in an overly ergonomic way, but it is surprisingly more ergonomic than you would expect for something so angular. Yes, it looks like the Cybertruck. I have a feeling that's going to be every other comment. Good job with that observation. Yes. Nested lock. Is that titanium? We're going to have to take a flashlight in there and take a look. Nested lock. I bet you anything the action is, of course it's insane. The action is insane. Okay, what's the steel? M398. So this has another name on it. slip-on. So this must be the collaboration or perhaps the designer. I am not familiar with this person yet. This is why we unbox these things and do first impressions, sort of a community first impressions, because there's always additional discussion that's beneficial to everybody down in the comment section. And then once I have all the details, I do a full review. But very, very interesting. Cutting edge, super duper nice, super sharp, even bevel. Very, very cool. We have a full backspacer. And again, that little pocket clip there. I'm wondering how well that actually works. Oh, that works amazingly well. And the benefit is, of course, that the pocket clip is not sticking up. Okay, enough of this. 5 minutes on one. I got to see what the big one looks like. Good Lord! Oh, it's even a different shape, too. Different pocket clip. So this, I got to keep these notes together. The large prism. A different design. Not just an overgrown or scaled up version of the initial knife. We have a different flipper, a different front flipper. Okay. A different blade shape yet. Look how they intentionally widened the bevel. A lot of people look at this and think that it's an error. No, I bet you anything it's exactly the same on the other side. So this is intentional. It's interesting how this line actually looks. It's like they decided to make the swedge complement how that bevel widens out of the tip. Obviously, I don't know of any specific circumstance where this is adding utility to the user's day-to-day. This exists in a territory that is functional and well-built and durable and all of that. Still don't know about their heat treat. I'm going to assume if they put this much effort into the knife, they probably aren't cutting corners on the heat treat. But again, I haven't confirmed that yet. Somebody in the comments, I'm sure, will. This exists in a territory where they are catering to the knife enthusiast. They are catering to the bored enthusiast who has experienced an oversaturated knife market for years and are just wanting something different. And there is absolutely a space for that. A lot of us welcome this type of stuff, for sure. Again, the action is amazing. I'm going to guess that this was first, and then this one feels like an evolution of this one. So there's the brand, slightly less reflective here, but still plenty sharp. Factory edge, wonderful. We have M398 again, and we have nested locks. Real quick, I'm going to see, and the purpose of this is to determine whether or not there is a steel lock bar insert. There's my flash over there. I got to remember to just put stuff back. Is there? Is there? What is this? It looks like there's a little chip right there. What is that? Yeah, I think so. So next step is the magnet. Let's find out. This is a freaking titanium. These are titanium lock bars. Nested titanium. So why is this important? Because they're going above and beyond here. It's not necessary. You can do the whole lock bar steel. The whole point is to have a steel on steel contact, right? We have a nested titanium lock bar underneath titanium, and within that titanium lock bar is a hardened steel chip. Really above and beyond. This is the kind of thing that where if you're going to go above a certain price point, right? If you're going to go way above that $250 price point, you kind of have to start offering extra work, right? Extra designiness, certainly more milling, machining, better materials like M398, higher polishes, things like, totally unnecessary things, but things that do add cost to the knife from their end, right? Like nested titanium lock bars with steel lock bar inserts. Don't normally expect to see that. Very cool. Very, very cool. Those are awesome. Okay. And then we have two that are listed as mid-techs. What does that mean in the context of Chinese production knives? It means that probably some or maybe even most of this knife is manufactured it's created by machine, but there are additional hand elements, meaning parts of this knife are partially or completely done by hand. This is kind of that in-between zone, and depending on who you ask, they might have a slightly different definition of mid-tech. You can call it semi-custom, not entirely made by hand, but not entirely made by machine. I'm hoping that people will find my definition of that satisfactory, because it is certainly a definition that has been argued about for a long time. Oh boy. Okay. All right. So, there's that pivot that we're used to seeing. We got a nice little thumb stud, right? We've got some stuff going on up here, some texturing, right? Some like indentions. This appears to be a matte. I'm gonna guess that's zirconium Timascus. Again with the layered. I'm almost certain that this is in fact zirconium Timascus, but we have, instead of this like, swirly, goopy, surface of Saturn kind of look, we have very, very organized layers. I've never seen it in that form before. Okay. And then we have kind of an acid wash two-tone blade. It looks like you have two different positions for the studs and then M398. This is an impressive knife, but I need to know very specifically what Poikilo is doing with this knife where they feel that they're justified in labeling it as a mid-tech. It's very important because that is a term that causes knife enthusiasts who are willing to spend money on this stuff, it perks their ears up, right? So I want to make sure that this legitimately has some element of that. I mean, it's more of the same incredible action. The detent's tuned properly. It feels great, right? What are you doing with these knives? What are you doing with this one, for example, where you feel like you can label this mid-tech overproduction? Because if this is entirely produced by machine, it's not a mid-tech. I just don't know. That's the whole purpose of that's part of the purpose of doing unboxings like this is I want to learn either through the Poikilo company in the comments or other people who know more about these products in the comment section. Salvatore mid-tech. Sorry, I'm going to put this note back on here. To the gentleman who's loaned me this stuff, I am keeping all of your stuff in its own location. It has its own box, all with the correct notes and things. Salvatore mid-tech. Here we go. Are you ready? Salvatore. Oh, is it more of the two-tone mirror DLC? Oh, I do like that. I do like this. Again, I want to know, what are we doing here? If we're calling it mid-tech because it has fancier materials, that's not what that definition means. So, but they are definitely stepped up in terms of, the accent materials like the backspacer and the pocket clip, but that's not enough to call it mid-tech. God, that's cool. That's so cool, man. Oh my gosh. That is insane. Look at that blade. Good Lord. Oh. I mean, listen. Even if we find out that that this is mislabeled, and again, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, so far, there's no particular indication of any specific hand elements, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. I don't know. Either way, this is really impressive. We have a compound Tanto two-tone DLC, but it's mirrored, and it's on top of M398. That's pretty wicked. So the only other company that I've seen do that so far is CKF. And the knife that was applied to cost me over $800. So they are definitely putting pressure on some of these other companies that are keeping some of this stuff in an exclusive zone. Yes, it's hyper expensive. Like, these are still hyper expensive knives, but when we're isolating some of these things, right? Specifically, the blade material and the finishes applied, notably the DLC finish, that's pretty much been exclusive to a much higher price point, and that's even considering those knives already being made in China. A lot of new people will go, I gotta just wait for Temu, it'll be up on Temu for $15. That's how, you might as well just be holding a big neon sign above your head that says, I'm a tourist, because it's already made in China. You can't just double down, you can't just multiple China this and just reduce it. It's not like you can't just stack China like in a video game and reduce the cost. It doesn't work like that. This is an expensive process. In reality, it's where it is, right? Whatever the minimal cost is, it'll be determined by competition. And then if you were to produce the exact same thing in, for example, the United States, where the cost of producing something like this in this identical form would be much higher due to labor, it would simply be higher. This is the reduced cost, or assuming as companies continue to compete with materials and finishes like this, we find out what that true base cost is, or that competitive price point. Okay, I've been talking a lot. Yeah, I had a Monster Energy drink before I started this. I'm sure you guys can tell which videos are caffeinated. But very cool. I like it. This is my favorite. What is this? The Salvatore Mid-Tech. The thing that I have taken, the thing that I've noticed that I love the most out of Poikilo is these are knife people. These are not like, oh, like, what's this knife industry? I bet we could make a buck here. These are knife people. But their ability to machine on a complex level and an accurate level is obviously there. Like that, I feel like they came in like, yeah, no, we got that. That's not what we're bringing to the table. That's just part of the package. But their ability to do this is wild. Wild stuff. Wonderful action. Really like the layered titanium Damascus. Absolutely wild. Wonderful action. Wonderful detent. That's what stands out to me. The finish work. The ability to take DLC and polish it and two-tone it. First time I've ever seen that. I've only ever seen, I'm impressed by mirror polish DLC as it is. That absolutely does add cost, whether it's done by hand or by machine, right? But the fact that they're doing that and then two-toning it is wild. On a compound blade made of M398. If I find out that they're hitting this M398 at like 63 or 64, my brain will explode. Anyways, this is going to be a lot to review. I need to talk with Poikilo. I need to find out who all they're working with. I need to find out about the finish work. I need to find out about what hand elements are involved. And I also depend on my community to fill me in and point me in the right direction so that when I do the reviews, they have all of the accurate info. But it is fun to experience this for the first time with everybody, or at least if you know more than me, for your entertainment. But I will get these reviewed. It's going to take a very long time. These are not what I would define as simple objects. So anyways, really cool. Thanks again to the gentleman who is loaning me this stuff and allowing me to take my time with it. It's really, really cool for the benefit of the community, right? It's very cool. So anyways, that's going to be it today. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do not like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.